up, bitches? What's up? Wake up. It's morning time.
Down to the meeting!
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What is going on, everybody? Happy Happy Tuesday. Tuesday, April 28th. Dang. April's almost over, y'all. Get your last April memories in. It is coming to a close. Good morning, Dan. How are you? Oz, what's going on? Good morning. Welcome back. Dylan, good mood king. Good mood king. That's what you're calling me? Or is that supposed to be good morning? Good answer, dude. You're driving. It's okay. I'm gonna take it whatever way I want. Um, what's up, everybody? It is Tuesday. It is almost the end of April. We're coming up on that month of May. May is what do we got here? Start of summer. We got end of school for a lot of our kids. I don't know if you guys see I when I was a kid, we got out in June. My kids get out in May. So yeah, we're looking at end of school in a couple of weeks. I want to say it's like the 19th, like that kind of range. So we're talking like 3 weeks left of school for the kids, which is wild. So that's coming up. I know this is like what is this? The last ditch effort to pull those grades up. This is the, end of the year, like fun and parties and proms. Bailey just had her prom. Um, Awards, whatever you want to call it. It's all of that kind of stuff. So May, May is going to be a May, but we're still here in April. We're still going through it. Still having a good time. How's everybody doing? How are your kids doing? How are your wives doing? Your husbands? What are we up to, people? What is going on? Let's see. So yesterday, I think I had told you guys, was a busy day, a triple books day for me at work, and it went down flawlessly. Like as if I've been doing this shit for 18 years. Like it cooked yesterday, as the kids say. I was to the first job early, and so were the guys. So we just went in there, had a quick meeting, which allowed me to get to the second job early, and my guys were early. The owner was a little late, but it was no big deal. We got in there, I showed him around, said goodbye, and then went to the third job. And same thing. The whole crew was there. They had already walked through the house with the owner. They were already taking apart the kitchen cabinets by the time I got there at like, I don't know, 8:30. So it was just 3 jobs booked on a Monday, which is never a good idea. I'm the owner of the company, of the general contracting company. So I run and manage the crews of subcontractors, but I work for clients. And so when I reference owner, it's the homeowner of the project that we're doing something on. So yeah, that's what I meant. David's back. Let's go. Not sure if that is an Arnold or a Poltergeist. So yeah, that's the reference of the word owner being late. The homeowner. So yeah, that was yesterday. And we cooked through those meetings. We did really good. I was able to then go to my other jobs, which are, have been business as usual. Um, Go to my PO box, get some stuff that I needed to get for some pickup work, and then come back to the office and have a solid couple hours of planning and organizing the rest of the week. Um, so yeah, it was a good day yesterday. And then finally, after so many weeks, got checks on this one job. I've got people who haven't been paid since January or February on this one project, and it's been super unfortunate. The clients had, I don't know, money, cash, CD closeouts, transfers, whatever you want to call it. It just seems like she's been getting the runaround from the bank or her broker or whoever she's talking to. Possibly I'm getting the runaround a little bit, but at the end of the day, finally was able to get the checks and will hopefully, because even yesterday she had told me the money is still not technically clear. So give it a couple more days and I'll let you know. So I have the physical checks, but I'm not allowed to give them out or cash them yet. So super unfortunate. Hasn't happened to me yet. Thankfully, everybody's being really patient and understanding. And one day soon, they'll all get paid, as will I, and we can move forward. Um, then I went home, drove home. Sure. I don't think so. I mean, my buddy who like used to be in finance, he was like, he was basically saying like one reason he thought was just it, when the invoices came due, the market was down pretty hard. So to close out their investment account, cash it out into actual funds would have been a loss for them. So that was what he was kind of saying, what he thought. I told him I tell my guys everything. So I tell them oh, you mean tell the owner the same thing? Yeah, they both, she was like, look, if you have to stop work, you have to stop work. And I'm like, I mean, you don't understand. Like it's not it's not actually work stop. This is work that's already done that you're paying for. None of this is like a progress really or a deposit. And even if it was a deposit, it's usually like an ordering deposit. So like in order to get your windows, you have to put down a deposit. So you have to pay that money or we're never going to be able to order our windows and you'll be behind schedule. And we are. Like I have had a slowdown. The job has been empty for, a little bit of time. Um, and just is what it is. And we'll get through it. We'll move on. Hopefully get things back and cracking as we wait on that one. So, you know, nothing's ever good, like stopping work or little setbacks. But starting two jobs right now, having the extra pressure of those, not bad that one of them is kind of cooling, is on a cool down, a little waiting period as we wait for these remaining windows and doors to come through. So happens. It is what it is. I didn't plan it that way, but we got it going. Yeah, so then drove home. Um, oh, greeted at the door by my son running and saying, "Dad's home. I love you. I missed you." It's just like, that's the greatest joy for any parent. We all know that. Good stuff. And then he was just like right in on me. Let's go outside. I want to check on the ants. Uh, let's play this game. Let's go look at this. Let's do that. Like just like going off. And I'm like, dude, let me let me change out of my clothes real quick, get in some more comfortable clothes. Let me, just kind of like unload my stuff, my cooler, my backpack, all that kind of stuff that I take with me every day. And then let me go say hi to my girls. So got to say hi to my wife. Uh Went upstairs to go say hi to Brooklyn and she was passed out. So took her glasses off of her and plugged her phone in and just let her sleep. And then Bailey was just kind of chilling. Bailey looked like she was going to sleep too. So these girls are ready for summer break. They're exhausted. I don't know, much of what's going on with them during the day, but yeah, they seem to be exhausted with with this year. And you can't blame them. I mean, Amy and I were pretty relaxed and like uh exhausted and wanting to sleep quite a bit in the on the weekend away. But I feel obviously rejuvenated and I'm ready to get back at it. For now, I'll crash this weekend. But yeah, she did eventually come down. I think maybe an hour and a half later when I was in the gym, gave me a big hug, and then went right back up to bed essentially. Yeah, that's pretty much the night. Just stayed hanging out with Bentley, playing some Roblox, uh, and then just kind of said goodnight to everybody. Bentley's on a little spree of cleaning his room. Him and Brooklyn traded out some stuffed animals, which was super cute because, as you guys know, they don't typically get along, but they kind of played a fun game yesterday where they were. Um, Brooklyn brought down all her stuffed animals that she didn't want anymore, and man, because we've done this a couple of times. I don't know how it is in your guys' house, but the amount of stuffed animals that these kids have is just wild. Like, it blows my mind every time. But then I go in my closet and I look at my V Friends collection and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. They just get all that shit from me, so it's all my fault anyways." Um, so, if you good, reference to a reading of, like, kids are a mirror into yourself. So yeah, they were doing that. So Bentley was like, "Oh, I got all these stuffed animals." So mom was like, "Okay, well, if you're bringing a bunch more stuffed animals into your room, let's get rid of some of them, like donate them or whatever." So he did that last night, right as I was going to bed. Uh, he wanted to show me his newly cleaned and organized room with his new stuffed animals laid around. So that was super cute. Yeah, that's pretty much my day. Pretty solid Monday evening after a pretty solid work day. How are you guys doing? Where'd my chat go? Where's my David? David, did you leave me, buddy? How was Baltimore? How was your trip? How was your tours? How are your speaking events? As you type all those words,
Don't do
I
the
will
reading.
do the reading. David, you missed it. You missed a rare show as one of my regulars. I'll show you. Yesterday's show, I actually took notes. I actually like had a plan and an agenda. And I think Dylan and Oz were there yesterday, but I think I handled it. I think I got through it pretty well, actually. It was a big weekend for me, and then I circled back on all three readings. It's not bad. I thought about it. I thought about it this morning about 30 seconds before I hit the live button. I was like, "Oh shoot, I didn't do any notes today." So we're definitely not running a streak where I do notes every time. But yeah, that might be a good thing to do on Mondays because the weekends can get a little, there's a lot that happens in a person's life on the weekend. A lot of interactions with the kids, with the wife, with the household that, is I feel somewhat valuable. Speaking out loud into the ether, and you guys connecting with in some way, shape, or form with what's going on in your life. I'd love to have some sort of. I think we've always kind of talked about that. This year is like some some sort of way for people to tell their stories or me to read them. So something in the chat, but it never seems to go that way. Reading Choose What Matters reminds me of how Broadway show Every Brilliant Thing. I've never seen that one. Broadway show Every. I haven't seen that. What's that one about? Today's reading, Do You Really Care? Simple one, right? This one kind of piggybacks off of one from, what was that? Was it Saturday? No, that was Sundays. Leniency. It's a little bit along that lines, a little bit of a let it go. Like, do you really care about, all the things that you, or should you really care about all the things that you kind of, let's say, get on your kid's case about, or, spousal, like you and your wife get on each other's case about, where the shoes are left, how the dishes are done, the loud noises. Loud noises are a big one in my house. Um, the way, hey, what's up, Ron? Good morning, sir. Making a list of the things that bring you joy. The Broadway show just opened. Oh, cool. Nice. Making a list of the things that bring you joy. I like that. To the little things. So yeah, this is kind of the opposite of that. This is about the things you that get on your nerves. The book the reading talks about, like, a piece of drywall in your house. Like, do you really care about that piece of drywall? Like, do I really care about this piece of drywall? That's a door, actually. Point somewhere. This piece of drywall right here. Do I really care about it? No, not at all. But if my kid were to walk over, take a marker, and start drawing on it, all of a sudden I would care, right? The drywall. I've never thought about that drywall ever, except for right now. Now I can't stop thinking about it. As soon as I close this show, I'm going to go over and spend some time with that drywall. But that's kind of like what the reading says. Like, do you really care? Should you really care? Could you let it go? Could you just let the kids have the fun? Do you realize that drywall can be replaced? Um, this was difficult for me because not caring to me relates to no structure. Yeah, so that's kind of like, it's kind of like the gray area, or where, like, a lot of these readings, they need a level of balance. They need a level of, yeah, but you're totally correct to feel that way. Like, yes, you should definitely not care as much or take it seriously to the point where all you're doing is reminding them to clean up after themselves, or to, not make loud noises. But it just is like it's balance. It's, can you find some time where they can be loud and some time where they can be quiet? Sitting at a random lifetime. Fun fact: people look at you weird when you walk into a fitness center with a 52-ounce big gulp of Diet Coke. But also know most rules are arbitrary. Yeah, right? Good morning, Zabby, by the way. How are you doing? Look at this. Look at these people just sneaking in here, dropping some stuff. I think about that all the time, how arbitrary rules are, and like how long ago some of these rules and these behaviors were made up, and by who, and what those people were thinking at that time, versus like our time right now is just so much different. Like, the world was, you know, I feel, less population, less chaotic, less busy. And then nowadays, some of those rules just don't really work. I don't know. It's just, and so, same with household rules. Like, who was it that made up the rule that, this has to be here, or that has to be there, it has to go this way? Most likely this was a rule that came from either, my parents or my family, or my wife's parents or her family. And it just kind of gets passed down, and you kind of manipulate them in your own household, with your spouse. I like boundary, I, wait, what? The boundaries of rules all the time. I'm sure that's a typo, but you are the boundary of rules. I push. There you go. Push. Yeah, of course you do. Like you said, who else brings in 52 ounces of Diet Coke? And then just crushes the whole thing in one gym session too. After his first set, he's already like, I need a refill. Life is like, whose line is, yep, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. 100%. How great would it be to like model your household around that? Just like that theory of like, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Just like attribute points to everything that the kids do. Like, attempt to tally up the score at the end of the day. Rules sometimes are very arbitrary, subject to change. Yep. And like, it's like we say, like, we're all kind of growing and changing as humans. Um, I was having a conversation with my buddy Scott here the other day, and he and his wife were going through. a change right now in their relationship, and I like kind of like felt the need to remind him that they're in a stage that they've never been at before. If they, as people reflect back on their relationship, their marriage, their dating years, they're like, we were so different back then. It's like, yeah, the one big change is you didn't have two kids back then, and your kids are growing and changing every year. Like a year ago, neither of your kids were in baseball. Now they're in baseball, and baseball is a very, like any sport, it's very demanding of your time. So of course you guys are going to be now a little bit more stressed, a little bit more scattered, and have a little bit less time together to work on your relationship because you have this whole event, these practices, these games, and all this stuff that you need to get to. And I just saw the word hot tub and that came up, and you don't have the time to just go in the hot tub and spend an hour in the hot tub together. Where did I land? If this is a Diet Coke session, I don't use the gym here, just the hot tub. Gotcha. Okay. So you just Scuba Steve should just be a movie. When are they going to make that movie? It was such an amazing character, and then somehow it came to life, and it's a movie. Dude walks into a gym, 52-ounce big gulp Diet Coke to just use the hot tub. Is the hot tub an exercise or therapy? The hot tub is huge, and it's an escape to get away and warm up in the winter. Gotcha. Yeah, it's cold out there, and you're in Minnesota, right? If I'm not mistaken. Uh, but yeah, so you know, like we're saying, let it go. Don't let it go. Find some sort of balance. Figure out in that, like, it's all about what you can figure out in that moment, like what your kids truly need. Try to take a couple deep breaths. Use the reading delay, pause, like calm yourself down and realize, does your kid get the point? How can you reframe it from, this was something that came up, I don't remember if it was in a reading or not, but how can you reframe it from talking at them to helping them understand that it's not a rule, it's more of a, like, a responsibility to, keep the household, to for them to invest their time into running the house with you, to working as a team, like all those kinds of things. As you can tell, I'm not very good at that kind of stuff with my kids. It's something I'm newly into and trying to figure out how to come together with my wife and our kids and try to figure this out, because we are definitely in that state where a lot of the most recent arguments have been around um, our kids stepping up, especially as they get older. We're trying to teach Bentley, the youngest, to clean up after himself, but then he looks at his sisters and they're not doing it, or he looks at his mom and dad and they're, you know, stuff that we're leaving around the house and not cleaning up after ourselves. Uh, Sounds like a good movie. Yep, that was another good movie. I loved that movie as a kid. Fun fact: Adam Sandler grew up with Diver Dan. Okay, all right. Example: walking outside. Rule: hold my hand. As they get older, they understand that it's not about holding hands. It's about not running into the street. Yes, yes. I think there was something in the reading. Um, What these rules actually represent is obedience and control. What you're really worried about, hence the fixation, is a deep seated anxiety that you might be screwing them up. Relax, let the stuff go. Seriously, let it go. You won't regret it. So there's a little bit of a combination there, right? Like, I agree with the holding hands at to some degree at a certain age, but then eventually, and it's different for every parent, every variable of your street, your city, your situation, where you are, but at some point, you have to let go because you have to let them explore. You have to let them figure it out. They are eventually going to be teenagers and adults and not want to, it's going to be real awkward if they're holding your hand. And, so you figure out that time. But yes, I agree. It's not about, like, part of it for me was I really enjoyed like holding my younger kids' hands as we're walking to school. It was just a form of connection. Adam Sandler confession: I did not watch Happy Gilmore 1. So Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, yeah. You should go watch it. 1 though. It was really good. Rules are not all equal, but they provide structure to important things. I don't like don't run into the street. They don't just get that if they're, yes, 100%. 100%. I think, like I said, it's just moral. This seems more along the lines of, so it references doors being slammed, chores not being done a certain way, um, that everything be put away immediately, feet go on the ground instead of furniture. This references more along the lines of like, is the mess is a little bit of mess in the house really like a problem like every second of every day? Like for me, it's my kitchen and my dining room table. These like flat surface countertops are just a dumping ground of stuff. And as you can see behind me, like I also do have a giant flat counter surface that is a dumping ground for stuff in my business. Um, and I think it's just kind of helping us get to the point where we're not constantly hour after hour like nagging our children or our spouses or each other to just get it clean like it needs to be there. Hmm, hello. Hello, lights. Junie's absent day count 33 out of 33. Not having messy house is a thing. It's not. Everybody's house is messy. I can tell you that. I go into, for my work, specify that, go into a lot of houses for a living, and they're messy. They always are. And everybody always apologizes, and you don't need to apologize, but I understand it. It makes sense to apologize in your mind, in everyone's mind. But yeah, best way to clean a house is to throw a party. My rule is whatever causes the least amount of cortisol within reason is the best path. All right. All right, dude. I like Yeah. Well, this has been a fun one, guys and gals. Thank you for joining me this morning on this fine, fine Tuesday morning. I do not call it messy. They are my projects. I need I need to review to keep this. Yeah, unless they like all pile up on top of each other and you can't figure out what goes where and stuff like that. But yes, an organized mess, right? Controlled chaos. Any one of those kind of terms. We all have some way of getting through it. Sometimes it's just leave it there because I'll get it done or I won't get it done, but at least it's not hidden away. And if I get that spur of the moment, um like energy to handle it, then at least it's close by. I can see it and I'll handle it. But if it just sits there for 2 weeks and I never do it, and the time frame to do it or whatever expires, then you could just throw it away or put it in the that's how I treat these little like trinkets or these like little McDonald's toys or whatever that the kids have, is like I leave it, I clock that it's there and that they're not really playing with it. Couple weeks go by and it's random spot, and then I throw it away. Yep, organized chaos. School year is organized chaos. Summers, total chaos. Yeah. Yep, I don't know who, invented that system, but that's another rule that's a little weird, a little strange. I've always dug the not when I was a kid, but, like, I always thought the more year-round type school where they just get bigger breaks, but for the most part go to school year round instead of like a 2.5 month off for summer. I always thought that was better system for parents children just to keep routine and structure because the lack of structure in summer just really it just really does a number on the kids and then the parent relationship, and it doesn't model what life after school really looks like. My kids for a while, especially when they're younger, they're just like confused by the fact that like they're on summer and I just keep going to bed early and I just keep waking up and going to work. And it's like, well, grown-ups and businesses and jobs and careers and stuff like that, they don't get summer break. So enjoy it while you can. Um, I guess that's the business model is we gotta let these kids be in their joy, be in their fun, and be in their imagination. Uh, that's what makes sense about the summer. So I'll just retract my statement about not liking it. And that's what we do here. We just talk, and it's just shenanigans. All right, people. Thank you. Appreciate you all as always. Hit me up in the DMs if you want to continue the conversation in any way, shape, or form, or have anything you want me to talk about or share as far as tomorrow or the next day. And if anyone is so brave enough to come up, you can always hit me up and we will arrange that. I am co-hostless for the foreseeable future because I have no idea what is going on with any of my predecessors, my friends, my homies. So, anyone wants to chat, I'm up for it. But have a great day. I'll see you back here same time, and we'll do this all over again. Good morning, MP, and goodbye, everyone.